Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And action packed as always. I mean, these are just amazing times. It's the first thing from the unseen. They said interesting and intriguing times. Do the math with exclamation points. And when you look up the meaning of do the math, it means examine the facts and figures to reach a conclusion, especially when the answer is clear. Bear this in mind when we look at the astrology, the current energies, and everything that's coming up, where we're going. Because let's just jump to it very quickly. I'm going to show you the astrological wheel for the sun enters Taurus. And it entered Taurus on the 19th of April. And there's a lot with this chart. What we're looking at, though, is so Saturn has it was conjunct the North Node. And remember, North Node is where humanity is going. So they were together, the great teacher and the North Node. Saturn has now moved forward 1 degree. Venus, which rules money and relationships and beauty and things of this nature, is currently conjunct the North Node, and it will move forward. Neptune is already in 0 degrees Aries. Saturn is going to be in early May. Saturn will be moving into Aries. So it's number 6 from the unseen. This is a point of no return. And it's a good thing. It is a good thing. This point of no return. Exclamation point, smiley face from the unseen. So, and 6 denotes spirit and service. So it's, again, North Node, where we're going, where humanity is going. Welcome, Kiki. Welcome, Olivia. Welcome, Alicia. So it's great to be back with you all again. So it's just action-packed. And so bearing this in mind, this interesting and intriguing times, do the math. Examine the facts and figures to reach a conclusion, especially when the answer is clear. And then the point of no return. We are advancing. Humanity is advancing. Period. End of story. Have a nice day. And so all of this, and we'll come back to the astrological chart of the sun entering Taurus, but there's this issue of how literally the heavy hitter planets, the outer planets, they're all advancing, they're all moving. And so there's great endings and beginnings, this point of no return. I want to bring in from astrologer Chani Nicholas. It's the weekly number, issue number 63. And she says, I truly believe that the more we heal in our lives, face our fears, and have the courage to break through whatever barriers are in our way, the greater chance we have at showing up in the world as the leaders we need now. And we really need us now. So this is about showing up in the world in the new, as our new selves. And our new selves meaning what's always been there, perhaps what's been laying dormant within us. And yet it's time. It's literally time. And when we began this journey back in November of 2017, we are now 3.5, almost 4 years later. This has been a buildup about be ready. It is about this showing up now for this new. And lastly, from Chani Nicholas, it's April 23rd. The sun, so this is today, the sun squares Pluto at 10:10 a.m. Pacific time. Double beginnings, 10:10. Identity crisis or glow up? At the moment, it's hard to say. But transformation arrives when you lean into the hidden parts of you that want to make themselves known. So bear in mind as we dive into this episode and these energies that are arcing out. Identity crisis or glow up? Transformation arrives when the hidden parts of us that want to make themselves known. This hidden aspect. You're going to see this with scientist and best-selling author Gregg Braden here in a minute. I'm going to talk to you about that. Keep all of these in mind. It's an amazing weave here. So let's look at the main energies. We're looking at youthful folly, try again. 23, split apart. We've had this a lot, this splitting apart from the past to regenerate. Then we have double nines because it's a 9-year, but the numbers also then reduce to a 9. So this double small restraint, surrender. And then we have 18, and we're going to work with that today. 18, decay, remedy. And we've had this hexagram a lot, hexagram 18. And this is from Channing Nicholas at cafeosoul.com. So decay, its action is remedy, repair what's spoiled. Its hidden influence is propriety, to subordinate. Its underlining cause, following, show by example. Following is listening to your soul source connection and going as guided, and then demonstrate that by example. Don't need to defend it, don't need to shout it from the rooftops. It's like the truth, it will speak for itself. And it's our first quote. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. This is by Marcel Proust. So again, the real voyage of discovery isn't about seeking new landscapes. It's about having new eyes. It's about how we see things. Interesting and intriguing times. Do the math. See the truth. See when the answers, especially when the answer is clear. So we want to be paying attention that we are literally we're in this moment where we are being implored to face and look at all the decay so that we can remedy it, not become it, not repeat it, but transmute it, move beyond it. So from cafeosoul.com, Carrie Hone, where following as the underlining cause suggests how one thing follows another naturally. In this situation, the old way needs to be overhauled if you are to be successful. See, we need to move beyond the past to be successful, to be great. That's what it means to be great, is to meet the current moment head on and with enthusiasm and excitement, not cleaving and clinging to the past or trying to relive the past. We've been there, done that. Ego games and self-serving approaches will not work. Following old routines can lead to shoddy work and design. Whatever the situation, it is time to clear out the old and prepare for the new. Be inspired by the carbon cycle and how bacteria regenerates decay into new life. Nature is always in a perpetual cycle of renewal. It's to become comfortable and enthusiastic with change. Change is a good thing because then we don't become stagnant and we continue to reinvent ourselves. It's like being the incarnation within the incarnation and the chameleon. It's like to keep building and harnessing the very best of us, what's within you, and allowing that it's natural, that it's beneficial, and that it leads to greatness. Decay is just a part of a larger cycle. Prepare and learn to offset it by not growing complacent. And this brings us to our second quote. Work on what has spoiled. Afterwards, there is order. This beautiful in the like that, I don't know, the lime greens and the turquoise blues and the deep blues and these dandelions, because again, the dandelion starts out as this orange flower, and then as it decays, it turns white, and then the winds blow each little strand, each petal with its seed, so that it, of course, regenerates. And that's the point. Work on what is spoiled. Afterwards, there is order. So, and continuing, failing to recognize the necessary cycles of completion and renewal, a situation has been allowed to move steadily towards a state of stagnation. See, those that are in power have failed to recognize the necessary cycles of completion and renewal. But we've reached the point of no return. It's all advancing, it's all moving. So perhaps you have defined your worth by solving the problems of others, and those that follow look to you as a problem solver. You may have lost your vision of the larger picture by tending to its many parts. Regardless of the reason, the situation has lost its suppleness. When things are alive, they're pliable, we move and everything. Of course, when we're deceased, we're stiff. Things become stiff. It is associated with autumn, when the height of creation ends and begins anew. In the image of seeds falling to the ground, harvest the seeds of the future by removing the outer husk or protective covering of the past. The labels, the scripts, the stories, the identities, the belongings, all of these things that we layer onto ourselves, that's the outer husk, that protective covering of the past. And hexagram 18, decay, repair what's spoiled, is about removing those things because we've been there, done that. And that's not who we are at our center. Our soul is eternal. So this is where we want to come into the purity and the highest octave of our soul. What did our soul say it would do? And then harness that, follow it, allow it to lead you. To work on what has been spoiled, separate what is dead from what will bring new life. When you are inspired by the laws of nature, you will be undaunted by the changing climate and merely set upon the task of reinvigorating renewal. You won't fear the future. You won't fear the unknown. You'll simply, really cherish and value and appreciate the past where you've been. We're all going to have fear and nervousness and whatever, but you just say, okay. And we walk through the fire, we get to the other side. And we've talked about this before. It's one of those moments where you'll say, why didn't I do this sooner? What took you so long? Why did I hesitate or procrastinate or fear? Who I am, it's my soul, who I am, who I'm becoming. So allow this powerful messages. Let's look at our main theme. And this is such a beautiful, our main theme is free falling, a breakthrough hyphen breakdown question mark moment. So this point of no return, this interesting and intriguing times, do the math, this clarity, and we'll show you the astrology chart again for the sun entering Taurus in a minute. But this is about free falling. And free falling has two, and this is what's on tap here, astrologically and current energies. So free falling, a fast fall from a great height under the influence of gravity, the natural force that attracts things toward the earth without any other force acting to reduce speed. So, and free falling, like parachutists, are briefly in free fall before opening their parachutes. So you jump out of the plane, you're free falling, and then you open your chute. Okay, so there's this aspect of free falling that is incredibly beautiful. Why? Because it's also known, that it's called the trust fall. When you're standing, someone's behind you, and you just fall backwards, and that person catches you. There's great faith, there's great trust in that. There is this aspect then of that avenue, that lane, where you are in complete free fall, meaning trust with source, with your soul, with listening and going as guided, your soul source connection, this beautiful free fall. The opposite, the other lane, is that you're literally in free fall, and you hear like the markets are in free fall, or this company, the stocks are in free fall. There's this, and that is a negative lane, if you will, negative air quotes, that means the bottom has fallen out. Both of these aspects are present and alive, and you're either in one lane or the other lane. But let's look at this from that standpoint of the golden ticket, the gold, being on the right train. We've talked a lot about this, about the one train, the past. The train of the past comes into the station. It goes nowhere. It's done. It's complete. It's finished. Then you cross the platform and you get on the golden, With the golden ticket, you get on the golden train. And you notice that this golden train is departing a metropolis, and you see all the verdant green and the open sky. It's adventure. It's about what awaits us. It's about what's before us, the world before us, and the one that came before us. It's a golden ticket. It's a golden train, and it's a bullet train. It's going somewhere um, fast. And that's the train. That's the lane in the train you want to be on. You want to be in this moment of divine free fall, in the flow, with source, with total faith and trust that in every second, because the ego mind personality will play games, right? We know that. That's what the ego mind personality does. But the soul is like, we got this. We know where we're going. We know how it all ends and what it looks like and so forth. So trust. I just want to bring up the image again because it's so beautiful. And this is an image of a waterfall. And look at, you're just in flow with it. The water, the mountain, the stones, it's all in harmony. It's effortless. It's beautiful. Unless you cause it to not be. And that's the point of this main theme, free falling, a breakthrough. It's really a breakthrough moment. That's the right train, the golden train, the golden ticket. But it can be a breakdown moment as well. That choice is up to you. And so this is where, let's look at the astrological chart again. So here we are. We have, and this is for the sun. It entered Taurus on the 19th of April. Well, you look in the middle. I always intuitively interpret the middle. And this was about, so the red triangle is known as a fixed T-square. It's between Pluto, because we're upcoming here in just a few days. We have the third and final Mars-Pluto opposition. At the base, which is the prominent position, is the sun. So you can see directly opposite. Mars is at the top, kind of 1 o'clock of the chart. That's Mars, comes straight down. That's Pluto. Go over to the right, it's the sun. The sun's at 0 degrees. Pluto is at 0 degrees. So Pluto's at 0 degrees Leo. Sun is at 0 degrees Taurus. Pluto is at 3 degrees Aquarius. This creates a fixed T-square, which is about, it's in fixed planets. So it means that there's going to be challenge and stubbornness and opposition and so forth. But it also means that these squares, because the sun is square Mars, it's square Pluto, and Mars and Pluto are opposing one another. So there's all this friction and heat and energy that must be released. Well, so then you look and you see the blue lines and everything. You see this triangle, and it was talking about what's been propped up. Because when you have a like a cardboard cutout type thing, and there's that little, you pop it out from the back and it's got the little stand, and that allows this to stand upright. If not, it would just lay flat, it would fall over. So that image talked to me about this, the energy of this astrological moment when the sun is at 0 degrees Taurus. What's been propped up? What gets the sun? Pluto, the underworld, what's been hidden? Mars in Leo, activation, divine masculine. What, and purity of, what gets exposed? This propped up, what's been propped up falls, because it's an illusion. Do the math. Examine the facts and figures to reach, like follow the money. Examine the facts and the figures to reach a conclusion, especially when the answer is clear. So this is going to be very revealing. This is going to, shock. We had that from the April 2nd. Are you ready for what's coming? ... next, and then shock waves. So we have that element going on in this chart. And then we have what the unseen gave me, because from the astrological influences of Saturn conjunct the North Node, and then Mercury enters Aries at 0 degrees Aries, Mars enters Leo at 0 degrees Leo, the Sun enters Taurus at 0 degrees Taurus. This chart speaks to these astrological energies, and they said the prism hyphen prison effect. So, which is very, very interesting. So, we have this, if I can get myself together here we go. So, prism, prison effect. And remember, here's just showing you the chart again, that triangle, that propped up. The triangle is like a prism. And so prism is used figuratively with reference to the clarification or distortion afforded by a particular viewpoint. So we're talking, and Channing Nicholas was talking about, is it clarification or is it this? We've got this clarity or illusion. So prism is about the reference to clarification or distortion. What's been propped up? It's an illusion. So it's a distortion of the truth. But here comes, it's like, here comes the judge. That's what's running through my hair. Here comes the judge. It's this thing of like, here comes the clarity, because we're at the point of no return. So prism can also mean a glass or other transparent object in prism form, especially one that is triangular with refracting surfaces at an acute angle that separates white light into a spectrum of colors. This and the sun is at the base of that fixed T-square, and Mars and Pluto are coming to their final opposition. So a lot of refracted light a lot is going to come to the surface. A lot is going to be brought to bear. White light into a spectrum of colors to transmute it, to purify it, decay, repair what's spoiled, to release it. Not perpetuate it, not continue to hide it, to eliminate it. And we need to remember this in our own lives, just to be good with ourselves. Again, if we're on the right path, right train, we're doing the works, then just keep stepping. Because that's about being ready. It's about being in alignment with your soul. If you're misstepping, that's okay. That's a choice. You can always choose differently. However, those things will be brought to the bear. So we're looking at all of this prism hyphen prison effect. It kind of speaks for itself, right? It's either, so these events that get revealed, these moments, this point of no return, there may be those that go to prison. That's a choice. Or remain in prison, because prison can also be something where you hold yourself in prison. We are always the one with the key. We may visualize ourselves in a cell, imprisoned, but it's open bars. The door is open. We hold the key in our hand. So at any point in time, we have the ability to release ourselves from any enslavement, entrapment, prison. It's up to us. It's not dependent on someone else. So as we move through, let's look at number 2 from the unseen. They said, it's showtime. And, well, they said showtime, exclamation point. And then it's showtime. And they said, ready or not, here it comes. Fast-paced, exciting time, fast-paced, exciting change. And it's showtime signals that the moment has arrived to begin a performance, important event, or task. It conveys readiness, be ready. It conveys readiness, excitement, and a sense of urgency. The phrase is used in various contexts, including theater, sports, and everyday life. It can also be a time for something exciting, interesting, challenging, risky to begin. And lastly, the meaning of showtime is the scheduled or actual time at which a show or something likened to a show begins. This point of no return. It's showtime, ready or not, here it comes. This fast-paced, accelerated, exciting time change because there's no going back. And you watch on the world stage less than a month ago, maybe 2 months ago at best. It looked like we were just rapidly going backwards. And yet, fast forward, look how rapidly all of these things are unwinding, failing. What's been propped up, it's an illusion, falls. Prism, prison effect. This golden ticket, golden train, the train that goes nowhere. So, and let me go to number 3 from the unseen. They said magic and miracles. And then they took me back, they used the word arise, exclamation point. And that is from the April 2nd show, Neptune Rising, A Noble Life, A Shocking Revelation. And arise means emerge, become apparent, begin to occur or exist. What's going to emerge, become apparent, and begin to occur or exist? Our divine, godlike nature. The ideal becomes the new reality. What we've been striving for all along is realized, becomes awakened, apparent, it emerges. And they said activation, upgrade, renewal, life remattered. So in essence, we're matter, M-A-T-T-E-R. We matter, but we're also matter, meaning physical matter. So the unseen is speaking about this activation. So magic and miracles arise. It's instantaneous activation, upgrade, renewal, life remattered, redrawn. It emerges, and it goes with our mantra. And this is such a beautiful image. And the unseen gave me the mantra, the light emerges from within. Number 4 from the April 2nd Neptune Rising show, A Noble Life, A Shocking Revelation, is that what emerges and becomes apparent and begins to occur or exist is our divine godlike nature. So arise. The light emerges from within. This is already within us. And it awakens, it gets turned on. And in the image here, you see all the stars, beautiful orbs of light and so forth, and all the stars. And then there's the star, the Eastern Star. And you see the 3 wise men on camel. That light was awakened in them. They knew to follow the star. This is at the time of Master Jesus's birth. They knew to follow the star. The light emerges from within. It awakens from within. And so let me go to, because this also connects to number 5 from the unseen. And they said, what began in the shadows, in the darkness, comes fully into the light. We're talking about the light emerges from within. Well, this is from New York Times bestselling author and scientist who is internationally renowned as a pioneer in bridging science, spirituality, and the real world. This is from GREGG. And I just received this on the 21st, and I kept it. I held on to it because I'm like, there's something. So he says, dear friends, over the course of more than 5,000 years of recorded human history, we've created incredible civilizations, explored the stars, decoded the human genome, and even developed quantum computers. And yet, one of the most fundamental questions of our existence still remains unanswered. Who are we, really? In 2022, a group of scientists made a quiet but paradigm-shattering discovery. Think about a breakthrough, free falling, a breakthrough or breakdown question mark moment, and this shock waves. A discovery so significant that it's now challenging everything we thought we knew about our origins, our potential, and what it means to be human. It all begins with what scientists once called, quote, junk DNA. So the light emerges from within. Our DNA, our double helix. Channing Nicholas, 10-10. Doubles, double new beginnings. For years, we were told that 98% of our DNA served no real purpose. That alone is shocking. We are divine beings, divine creations. Why on earth would 98% of our DNA, of our essence, serve no purpose? But new research suggests that this mysterious part of our genetic code, now referred to as dark genes, I would submit to you. Dark genes, dark meaning from the void, the purity of the void. From the purity of the void, let there be light, is the purity of the light. But new research suggests that this mysterious part of our genetic code, now referred to as dark genes, I would submit to you should be called, now referred to as divine genes. 98% divine. Dark, purity of the void. Okay. May be the key, so now referred to as dark genes, divine genes, may be the key to unlocking extraordinary human abilities that have been dormant within us for generations, for eons, for millennia. Similar to dark energy and dark matter in the cosmos, the void, the purity of the void, dark DNA, divine DNA, has remained largely unseen. We talk about the unseen all the time. It is who guides us. Spirit, source, and symphony, the unseen. So this DNA has remained largely unseen and unexplored. But what if this hidden code is not random or evolutionary at all? Evolutionary meaning over the course of time. They're talking about magic and miracles arise. What arises? Our divine godlike nature. It's instantaneous activation, upgrade, renewal, life remattered. It changes us, our physicalness, our beingness, and we are redrawn. So here that Gregg Braden is speaking to that it's been unseen and unexplored. But what if this hidden code is not random or evolutionary? What if it's the product of a conscious, intentional act? Source, divinity. What if it was placed there for a reason? For this moment, this time, this point of no return, this free-falling moment where we get activated and turned on. An invitation to reclaim what was always yours. We have been, society and everything has taught us, has dimmed our light and shrouded us so that we would not remember who we are at our center, our divine nature, our soul source, and our soul essence, this connection to the divine. And so here, this is an invitation to reclaim what was always yours. It's extraordinary. It's right on point. And this is like sometime in May, mid-May, and we talked about this, great changes and so forth. This moment where the switch just gets flipped. This activation, this awakening of divine DNA. This is what I'm calling it, not dark DNA. I understand dark DNA meaning from the void and so forth, the unknown. But for me, it's divine DNA. It is that portion, 98% of it. I mean, divine. So When we look at this, it moves us, and it says, number 4 from the unseen is, the light will show the way, will lead the way. So we have our mantra, the light emerges from within. The DNA is already there, this divine DNA that science is just now realizing and recognizing, oh, it's not what we believed it to be. It's something far greater, something more. And all of this is right on time with this, it's showtime, ready or not, here it comes. And this point of no return. So, and what this requires is our key word, cooperation. It requires our cooperation because, the act and process of working together to the same end, an act or instance of working or acting together for a common purpose or benefit, a process whereby two or more individuals work together toward the attainment of a mutual goal or complementary goals, the state of having shared interest or efforts, working together. This is about the ego mind personality working together with the soul and the soul source connection, cooperation. This is about 8 billion souls on the planet working together, cooperation. Think of this when we, just in our physical human lives, the greatness that the world would be when corporations and governments and institutions cooperated with one another, collaborated in a cooperative manner, all for the purpose of humanity's and the world's and people's greatness. Imagine that world instead of kill or be killed and, you know, all of this, illicit behavior where it's all competition and it's all, that's an illusion. It's been propped up because what's yours is yours. It's already yours. Your unique fractal of the divine. It's yours. You don't have to compete for it. It's yours. So imagine when we work in harmony, in unity, in cooperation with ourselves. We got to get the ego, mind, personality, the heart, the soul. It's that Ahura Mazda, the rotary engine. When they unify, there is no dissension. There is no conflict because they're in cooperation with one another. The light emerges from within. The light will show the way. So we have cooperation. It's our key word. And not to forget the sun and the moon, divine masculine, divine feminine, the unity of them coming together. We've talked a lot about that. Each of us has divine masculine, divine feminine within us. It does not matter your gender. Within us resides both of these. And in this moment, temperance is the soul creating this perfect recipe for us individually and collectively. So this is truly about releasing the past, where we've been. Where we've been there, done that. Where we're going, unknown, but not unknown to us because we know it, we can feel it, it's within us. We know there's something beyond. So this is just about marrying the pieces, temperance, that beautiful recipe, cooperation, divine masculine, divine feminine, ego, mind, personality, soul source connection, all in cooperation, in harmony with itself. No more fighting against, no more, swimming upstream, free falling in the good way, in flow with. That brings about breakthroughs. Go against it, it's breakdowns. But it's a breakthrough or breakdown moment. Let's look at, this is from astrologer Pam Youngun's North Point Journal. And she says, Act 3. This week, Mars and Pluto are exactly opposite for the third time in 6 months. This polarizing aspect between these two dynamic planets usually occurs only once every 2 years, but it is happening 3 times in 2024-2025 due to Mars having gone retrograde in December. The first Mars-Pluto opposition occurred on November 3rd, the second just before the election in the US, the second perfected on January 2nd, and the third is exact on April 26th. In 3 days, it's coming up. During the week around the 2 previous dates, dramatic events occurred that invoked powerful visceral reactions for many. These are the manifestations we would expect from this tug of war between the gods of war and transformation. With the final opposition perfecting next Saturday, this coming Saturday, we are likely to experience another spike of emotional intensity this week and or next or both. Pluto is the great revealer, and as it opposes Mars in fiery Leo, it exposes the shadow qualities of that sign: blind ambition, arrogance, a need for attention, even if negative, and aggression through intimidation. To successfully navigate this influence on an individual level, we must remain centered and calm, be aware of our own reactivity, and find ways to channel our assertiveness responsibly. Bringing up the main theme image again. Flow like the water, this waterfall spilling over the mountain's edge, the earth's edge, these stones. They're in harmony with one another. They're in cooperation with one another. They're not fighting against one another. They're in flow. So it's free falling. A breakthrough moment or breakdown. If it's a breakdown moment, it's a choice. All of it's a choice, but it's a choice to have a breakdown. From its end of the tug of war rope, Mars, the Energizer, activates the shadow side of Pluto in Aries Aquarius, an all-encompassing desire for power, the use of fear and intimidation to manipulate and control, a feeling of entitlement, and a lack of caring or compassion. For us to work with these energies, we must remain humble and without attachment to ego. This enables us to focus on the long-term benefits for all rather than only the short-term gains for self. So you can see what's on offer here, and it's going to be intense. And we're either going to be in the flow of humility and grace and free falling with trust, or it's going to be a lot of lack and entitlement and manipulation and control. It's a choice. Pam Youngins, she concludes, the fixed T-square. The Taurus sun is square Mars and will square Pluto. As these 3 planets interact, they form a configuration called a T-square. This is an indicator that we will be dealing with heightened tension throughout the coming week, perhaps strongest midweek. Hi, we're at midweek, Wednesday. And again next weekend when the configuration is strongly activated by the new moon. We'll get to the new moon next week, next Wednesday, but it occurs on Sunday. Symptoms associated with this type of T-square with all 3 planets in fixed signs include stubbornness, possessiveness, a battle of wills, a drive to succeed at all costs, and a resistance to change. See, this is cleaving to that old train that's coming into the station, and it's over. It goes nowhere. With the sun at the all-important apex of the T-square, located at the base of the stem on the letter, just bringing up the chart again so you can see that. There's the sun at 0 degrees Taurus. It's at the base of this fixed T-square. We are also dealing with undue self-confidence, pride, ego attachments, and a lack of flexibility. The pent-up energy of this fixed T-square, if not given a healthy outlet, can erupt through irrational behavior or aggressive action. You don't want that. You want to be in the flow. If you encounter people that are in that space, walk on by. The light will show the way. So listen to your soul source connection and walk on by. Keep moving because there's a greatness ahead, and it's about be ready. So now let's look at Astrology by Lauren. And she's writing about Saturn conjunct the North Node, which just occurred, and the karmic consequences. See, this is karmic. This is fated. It's karmic. It's destiny. It's divine design. It is the unseen orchestrating, the master weaver, the unseen bringing everything to move us, to advance us forward, to awaken our divine, our spiritual DNA. She begins with a quote by Peter Viereck. Reality is that which, even when you don't believe in it, it doesn't go away. The truth doesn't go away just because you don't want to see it or believe it. But this is about facing things head on. We've talked, you can't be the ostrich with your head in the ground. And even though you do that, or you may, it doesn't go away, it doesn't change. The truth is the truth is the truth. So, Astrology by Lauren. Choices have consequences, out of which the tapestries of our lives are ceaselessly being woven. And never is this more apparent than when Saturn gets tangled up in the nodes of the moon. On April 21st, Saturn will make its conjunction with the true North Node at 26 degrees Pisces. And thus, our fates unfold. Yes, Alicia is saying, and divine design brought us together. Yes, indeed it did. And I would say divine design from the unseen, because it certainly was, and it was also the name of the charitable event that Alicia and I worked on in Los Angeles. So Astrology by Lauren, she continues, Saturn will enter Aries on May 24th, so it's latter May, not early May. But before we get there, Saturn will be making its way through the final degrees of the final sign of the zodiac. When at this stage, it can bring this feeling that things are in their final stage of dissolution. See, the old is over. It is, again, while those try to cleave to it and hang on to it and reinvent it or rewind the clock, but the natural order of the unseen, of our world, of the cosmos, is to move forward. And no matter, this is Astrology by Lauren, and no matter how much you may wish it to be otherwise or pretend it away, this feeling of being in the final stages is imminent. This is the natural order of things, this cycle of beginning, ending, then followed by a renewal. But it is also interesting to note that never in our lifetimes has Saturn been conjunct the North Node in the end degrees of Pisces. The last time they were conjunct, the Saturn and the North Node, conjunct in Pisces was in 1877. This was a significant time in history in the United States, with the abandonment of Reconstruction in the South, the abolition of slavery, liberation. However, although in Pisces, although the Saturn and North Node conjunction in 1877 was in Pisces, the conjunction was still not at these end degrees. They were earlier in Pisces. This is now happening at the end of Pisces. When major planets enter this latter part of Pisces, and Pisces is the last sign of the astrological wheel, and here's Saturn, the great teacher, the taskmaster, conjunct the North Node in the end degrees of Pisces. Before Saturn moves into Aries, the first sign, renewal. So just before so when major planets enter this latter part of Pisces, just before they enter Aries, the sloughing off process, snake medicine, we had that in some shows ago, that sloughing off process becomes more acute, accompanied by an almost emotional despair for the loss of what once was. People are having meltdowns because, again, the Piscean, patriarchal, divine masculine era is coming to a conclusion, a close. And they have been in charge. They don't want to not be in charge. And so they're fearing, they're having a meltdown. When instead of recognizing that the Aquarian, matriarchal, divine feminine era is about the harmony, the unity, the cooperation of the two, not one over the other, but the unity, the harmony of it. Ah, can you imagine how incredible that is? Astrology by Lauren, she continues, Neptune crossed this threshold in March, and now Saturn will follow. But now without the feeling like a door is closing behind us. Saturn conjunct the North Node can show us the consequences of our choices. Like a stark and sometimes harsh moment of clarity, we see things as they are and cannot look away. What's been propped up, it's an illusion, it falls, it collapses. Interesting and intriguing times. Do the math. Examine the facts and figures. It's showtime, ready or not, here it comes. And this arise because our divine DNA is being awakened within us. And just as we see the ramifications of decisions made in the past, we are also planting seeds with the choices we are making now. Those same seeds are the seeds that were spoken of in hexagram 18. Decay, remedy, repair what's spoiled, so that what's planted anew is new. Individual choices. Saturn plays the long game. When you toss a stone into the still center of a pond, you will see the ripples extend outwards till they reach the edges of the pond. Therefore, know that there are ramifications for decisions being made now, whose consequences are going to continue to ripple out to the far reaches of the shore. Which lane, which train are you in? Are you on? What are the choices you're making? Are you free falling in a state of trust, in alignment with soul source connection? Are you ready? That means be ready. Or are you cleaving to the past that ends? Lauren continues, on April 24th, Venus, the planet of alliances, that's tomorrow, values, so she's the planet of alliances, values money and the economy and beauty, will make its exact conjunction to both Saturn and the North Node. Know that these are when the conjunctions are exact, but due to Venus's station on April 12th, that's when she was stationed direct, it has been and continues to be conjunct both Saturn and the North Node for the entire month of April. So she's going to be conjunct both Saturn and the North Node the entire month of April. And so the fates are working assiduously, rearranging the pieces on the playing board of life. And remember, we've talked about, are you playing chess or checkers? This is all about playing chess. It's the long game. Separating some, so she says, and so the fates are working assiduously, rearranging the pieces on the playing board of life, separating some, that pulling apart, it's 23 in today's energies. Just give it to you here. Split apart, regenerate. So separating some while uniting others. But also know that they do not do this alone, for we serve as co-collaborators in our destiny through the choices we make each day. On April 26th, just one day before the new moon, Mars will make its third opposition to Pluto. This first was on November 3rd, the second on January 3rd. This is the last of these oppositions. Mars-Pluto transits are indicative of extreme power struggles against powerful forces. On Friday, Mars enters the sign of Leo. It's in Leo now. In opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, one might think all sorts of possible outcomes. The position of a king, a fall from grace, free falling. What's been propped up falls. Prism, prison. So in opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, one might think of all sorts of possible outcomes. The position of the king, a fall from grace, a contest between powerful leaders, or the abuse of power. It can also be the resistance to those powerful forces, even forces that seem so much larger than us. Mars can also be a catalyst and call for action, the end game. It's this call for action, the end game. Channeling the positive attributes of Mars in Leo, because this is Mars in the purity of the divine masculine. can bring courage, confidence, and an extraordinary will. These are the qualities that allow us to stand firm even under extraordinary circumstances. It allows us to speak truth to power. It allows us to stand. We can protest in solidarity and silence. It speaks volumes. We don't have to yell and shout. We don't have to be aggressive or harmful. Silence speaks volumes. These are the qualities that allow us to stand firm even under extraordinary circumstances. But there can also be a sense of desperation. On Sunday, the last quarter moon will conjunct Pluto and oppose Mars, this Pluto-Mars opposition, as Saturn creates a T-square, bringing a situation to a head. So there's culmination coming between now and the end of this week. But again, these things are going to ripple out like the stone in the pond. It's going to ripple out. So Mars-Pluto oppositions can be primal and deep. Last quarter moons, as well as oppositions, are times of conclusion. Things are coming to a head. We're coming to a heightened moment here. With Saturn conjunct the North Node, our karma is unfolding. This is about karmic events. And we are all being fiercely drawn along with the tide in order to fulfill our destinies. We are all here in this place at this time for a reason. Our souls chose to be here for a reason. And while it is, it's chaotic and confusing and worrying and everything, that's an illusion. So don't buy into that vortex and that narrative. See it, don't ignore it, see it, and release it. Because our souls chose to be here in this place, this time for a reason, which is precisely why the sorts of decisions and choices we make now are so important. This is not just about our own individual evolutionary growth, which it is, Lauren says. It is also about the evolutionary growth of humanity as a whole. Every choice we make, every little bit of resistance, every kindness and action we make and take contributes to the outcome. It's about being the change we want to see. Be the world we want. Because it contributes to the outcome. Saturn will be exactly conjunct the true North Node on April 21st. That was 2 days ago. On the days leading up to it and after, lean into it. Move towards it. Because Saturn's moving on. Saturn's moving into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. That's renewal. That's new world, new life, new us, new you, new me, new. Saturn asks us to slow down and to consider and deliberate. Use the conjunction between Saturn and the North Node for contemplation, retreat, purifying, cleansing, and letting go with grace. The North Node in Pisces is asking us to have faith, free-falling, that faith fall in faith, even when there is no apparent reason for us to have faith. Rome is burning, so to speak. The world is, the old paradigm, the old is collapsing. It's chaotic, it's crazy, it's that dragon, but at some point here, very soon, the head of that dragon gets lopped off. It's done. And we are told to believe. Believe in the true. Believe in the good. Believe in the sacred. 98% of our DNA that has been unknown, unactivated. Lean into what is true, what is good, and sacred. Interesting, intriguing times. Do the math. Saturn is about commitments, oaths, and promises. Therefore, we may take an oath in service to the highest good and commit ourselves to the greater betterment of humanity. Commit to your highest good. Commit to your highest octave. Commit to your higher self. That is your soul source self, your soul source connection, your soul. your divine nature and essence, your divinity. Connect, commit to it. Because when we do, it brings about a greater betterment of humanity. And remember, the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, the unseen, and our choices that we make, they're going to come together. They're aligning. They're going to come together. And then the unseen is going to flip that switch, and that dark DNA, that divine DNA, boop, gets turned on. Astrology by Lauren, she concludes with a quote by Claire Legrand, Lightbringer. You will show the people who would have caged you. So you will show the people who would have caged you how mistaken they were to think they ever could. See, they want us to be enslaved, imprisoned. They want us to dim our light, to be dumbed down. You will show the people who would have caged you how mistaken they were to think they ever could. God, the unseen source, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, Allah, Buddha, the all that is, how mistaken they were to think, they're saying to humans, humanity, how mistaken you were to think you ever could minimize or enslave or minimize our true nature, our divinity. So we are at this point of no return. What began in the shadows, in the darkness, in the void, in the purity of the void, comes fully into the light. The light will show the way. It's about magic and miracles. Arise. It gets instantaneous activation, upgrade, renewal, life remattered, redrawn. It emerges. And it's showtime. Ready or not, here it comes. Fast-paced, exciting time and change. And it's about making the right choices and aligning with your soul source connection and knowing that nothing and no one can prevent you from rising, from freeing yourself, and from becoming who you already are, your divine true self. So I love you all. So wonderful to be back again this week, and I cannot wait to see because now we talked about this mid-May moment, and there's a lot that's going to happen and occur between now and mid-May and to June. So be ready, be ready, be ready, be ready. Love you all. We will see you next week.